What's up, guys? Black Stain Carpentry. Now, I don't just do wood, I also know how to weld. It took me about a year to learn how to weld, and I'm going to explain a little bit on what the test has. So here's my hood. It's a auto darkening hood. It's kind of a cheap one. I think I got it for like 90 bucks. I have to recommend the auto darkening is way better. Here's what you see underneath. Instead of it just being black, it's green until you strike an arc and you can actually see what's going on underneath. It's actually kind of a cool photo of what happens underneath. So anyways, we're doing 3G and 4G. 4G, which is the overhead, which I thought was much easier than the weave 3G. So anyways, you want to strike an arc before your test. And the test is you take an 1/8 inch gap and it opens up all the way to a 1/2 inch gap and you have to fill it with rod. So this is just 1/4 inch steel that you put your root weld down. Your root weld is the most important one. You want to go all the way with one stick on the root weld, and then your following passes, you're going to have multiple passes. So I take about 3/4 of a stick to do one, and then I connect it and continue on with the second stick. So here's what's tricky. You're over your head, wear a beanie because you will get sparks that hit your hair and burn it off. So anyways, you spark an arc. All you're doing is doing straight stringers. So you cannot make it with one stick after your root weld because you're depositing too much material. That's why you need more than one stick. And you stop in the middle. Because when your welding instructor tests this, he's taking 1 inch off the top and 1 inch off the bottom and cutting your test plate in order to bend your test plate. So now, as you see here, what you do is, this is a completely different application, but if you look at my hand, as the rod burns, you have to not only move, in this case horizontally, but you also have to push closer to the actual material. Otherwise, you won't have a consistent arc gap. And if you don't have a consistent arc gap, then it's when you have bad welds. It ends up burning too hot. Your rod material does not get deposited as well as you're going to end up failing your test because it's a weak weld. In welding, all you want is absolute consistency with your arc angle, with your distance, with your timing. And I like burning a little hot because I can't, wait there as long. The longer you wait, the hotter it burns, and, there's a whole science behind it. So basically, what you want to do is be super consistent. So now, here is the 3G, the vertical up. So you're going to end up weaving it back and forth, and you want to hesitate on your corners, because if you don't hesitate on your corners, you're going to leave undercut, which means you're burning the steel without depositing material from your rod. This took me about 6 months to master alone, but when I was all said and done, I ended up being able to make this awesome end table out of my grandpa's old saw blades. It turned out great. I made a top for it. Here's the without the top, and this is my 3G test. That's the weave vertical up. I don't believe I have a picture of the stringers, but anyways, when I tested out, here's my completed test. Vertical up weave, I failed. I had to take it twice. But the overhead stringers, which I thought was a lot easier, I passed the first time. So it took me a year to test out, but if you have determination, you could probably do it in about 8 months. So anyways, this is Black Stain Carpentry. Thank you. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know what you want next.